Welcome back to Like Maria. Just a really quick revision video today. I'm going to go through every chapter of Jekyll and Hyde. So, chapter 1, Story of the Door. This is where Enfield Utterson go for a walk, see the door, and they talk about the damned juggernaut. Chapter 2, Search for Mr. Hyde. Utterson has a bad dream, goes out, tries to find Hyde, lurks by the door, eventually finds him, calls him pale and dwarfish, talks about Satan's signature, and says there was something amiss here that's not right. Chapter 3, Dr. Jekyll was quite at ease. Dr. Jekyll was at home, entertaining. Mr. Utterson stops off after the dinner party, talks about the will. It's a little bit of friction, but this is the point where Jekyll is feeling a bit better about himself. Number 4, the Carew murder case. This is where the maid is looking out the window, sees Carew being clubbed to death with ape-like fury, talks about Hyde acting like a madman. Then there's chapter 5, Incident of the Letter. This is where we have the letter from Hyde trying to convince Utterson via Jekyll that Hyde is no longer going to be a problem, that he's away and safe and dealt with. And Mr. Guest at the end looks at the letter and says, something very funny here. And Utterson thinks, oh, looks a little bit like Jekyll is forging this letter. So that's the kind of cover-up that Jekyll uses. Chapter 6, The Remarkable Incident of Dr. Lanyon. This is Dr. Lanyon who Jekyll has exposed himself to. He has exposed the ideas and the potion and the method. And Utterson doesn't know this at this point, but he goes to visit him and he finds him very, very unwell. Lanyon talks about how he doesn't want anything to do with Jekyll ever again. And eventually he takes really sick and he dies. But of course the reader doesn't know exactly what has gone on, and nor does Utterson at this point. Then we have number 7, The Incident at the Window. We return, so nice link back to chapter 1 where Enfield and Utterson are going for the walk. They look up at the window of Jekyll's house. It's associated with the door, but this is high up. They look up and they see Jekyll and they talk to him. He doesn't want them to come in. They can see he's not well, and then they see him in the throes of the transformation. He's turning back to Hyde. He can't control it, and these two gentlemen, there is a chill in their blood. Their blood runs cold because of what they've seen, and that's how the chapter ends. That brings us along to the last night. The last night is the key chapter, really important one, where Paul arrives at Utterson, says there's something terribly wrong, there's something amiss. You've got to come with me and sort it out. They go round through the night. It's a kind of gothic setting, and the night they arrive, they hear noises inside, and eventually they decide to break down the door and they find Hyde's body contorted. And they are worried, they are concerned about where Jekyll might be, because at this point they don't realise, obviously, that he's the same person. So that's all the drama, the tension. That's a really good chapter for tension and build up. And eventually they find him and he has committed suicide. He's a self-harmer. So the main body of the narrative stops there. We jump over into chapter 9, which is Dr. Lanyon's narrative. This comes in a letter that is entrusted to Utterson, and he details the night of the incident of Dr. Lanyon. So he hops back really to chapter 6, where he talks about the night that he had to help get the potion and get the powders to give to Hyde to transform back to Jekyll. And Hyde gives him the opportunity to stay or to go, and he decides to stay, and he is therefore forever affected by what it was he saw in this transformation, and he's horrified, and it actually kills him. So that's a really important chapter. And then, of course, the last chapter. And this is a chapter I 100% say you've got to go and look at several times again and understand it, because there's a lot of philosophy here. It's Henry Jekyll's first statement of the case. And there's a lot of his early days about thinking and experimenting and what he wanted about duality. Beginning of this chapter is great for duality, the dual nature. And of course, it talks at the end about these are my last moments. I won't see you again. So there you have it. Really quick run through all the chapters of Jekyll and Hyde.